everybody? It's your boy, Sai, back at you today asking you to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share this with your family and friends across the world. May God bless you and keep you, is our prayer.
When Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, they said, "Perhaps Joseph will hate us and may actually repay us for all the evil which we did to him." So they sent messengers to Joseph, saying, "Before your father died, he commanded, saying, 'Thus you shall say to Joseph, I beg you, please forgive the trespass of your brothers and their sin, for they did evil to you. Now please forgive the trespass of the servants of the God of your father.' And Joseph wept when they spoke to him. Then his brothers also went and fell down before his face. And they said, 'Behold, we are your servants.' Joseph said to them, 'Do not be afraid, for am I in the place of God? But as for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, in order to bring it about as it is this day, to save many people alive. Now therefore, do not be afraid. I will provide for you and your little ones.' And he comforted them and spoke kindly to them." When we look at this particular point in Joseph's life, we find really a calling out, really just two different ways of viewing one situation. You see, this is the fulfillment, really, of a dream that Joseph had when he was but a child living at home. Joseph was at home. He seemed to be the favorite of his father amongst all of his brothers. And his brothers, of course, because of the favor that he had right in the house and in front of all of them to see, because of that, his brothers hated him. And we could understand if we're living in the same house, we're siblings and we're supposed to be equal, or at least you would imagine that would be the case. But no, there was certain favoritism given towards Joseph. And so you had this dynamic in the family where Joseph was favored by his father, and while he was favored by his father, his brothers were there. They were not receiving the same favor, and Joseph comes along skipping, grinning and cheesing, talking about he had a dream that his sheath stood while his brothers' sheaves all bowed down to him. It's amazing. It's an amazing tale, but an amazing dream. And perhaps it would have been better for Joseph, especially if he wanted to stay at home, for him to keep the dream to himself. But that's not what he did. He went out and told his brothers the dream. And so his brothers immediately bristled at this dream that he's telling them, because they're like, "Wait a minute, you are the youngest among us, you little runt. What do you mean we're going to bow down to you? We're not bowing down to you." And then later, Joseph has another dream, this time involving stars and constellations, and he says the sun and the moon bow down to him. His father catches wind of it, and now they're trying to figure out if Joseph thinks that even his parents are now going to bow down to him. And so he has this dream, this vision, and his brothers were out working, and his father sent him out to go check on his brothers, and his brothers see him in the distance, and they begin to plot against him. And they start saying, "Well, here comes that favorite child. Here comes the one that our dad truly loves more than us. Let's kill him." And it eventually turns out that he's not killed, but he's sold into slavery. And he goes through, we live through a lot of what Joseph goes through. He goes into slavery, he becomes trusted. God is with him even throughout his slave days, and he begins being the person who's running Potiphar's house until the wife accuses him, and then he gets thrown into jail. So he's not moving up the ladder of society, he's actually moving down the ladder of society. And while he's in jail, we find that he's so trusted down there that the jailer then decides, the warden of the jail decides to trust him with everything in the jail. And then he begins to interpret dreams, and next thing you know, Pharaoh has a dream and nobody can interpret it, and next thing you know, Joseph is there, he interprets a dream, and now he is running the land. His brothers are suffering, or his family rather, suffering from the famine, and his brothers come to get food, and when his brothers come to get food, he recognizes them. They do not recognize him. And so he's now providing for the family, that everything gets taken care of. They move, Joseph moves his family to Goshen, and they're living there. And now we come up on the end of Genesis, and we find now that Joseph's father, Israel, Jacob, has died. And now the brothers who did him wrong are concerned about what that means for them. And rightfully so. If I'm in their shoes, I'm worried too, because the one that I think was protecting me, if I'm them, our father, if I believe he's kind of a buffer, and Joseph perhaps is not harming us because our father is alive, then when he dies, I'm concerned that now Joseph is going to come after me just like he did, or they did to him. I'm concerned as a brother of him that he may, with all of his power, come after me just as if he was going to repay me for what I did to him. That's where my concern would be. And let me tell you why. It would be a selfish concern, because I acted selfishly when I got rid of it. Did you catch that? It's a selfish view. They're right here in the same place. The dream that Joseph has had been fulfilled, that they bowed down to him, the father was under his authority. All of this was going on. And so now that their father is gone and the vision had come true and he had actually taken care of them, they are now worried because throughout their life they seem to not understand that you can actually live for somebody outside of yourself. They were thinking about this in a selfish manner. And I'm telling you, if I were in their shoes, I'd probably be thinking the same way. Because they had done something to their brother in order to get rid of him, went back and lied to their father and said that he was dead. And they did all of this because they were jealous of him. They behaved in a selfish way. And so now we're here at the revelation of a dream. They're bowed down before him once again. This is not even the first time they're bowed down to him. Second time they're bowed down to him, and they are thinking that they are in deep trouble, because now not only does he have the power to now hurt them, he can actually do worse to them than what they did to him. So therefore, they are very concerned, because he can lock them up in jail and make sure that they get no preferential treatment in the jailhouse. He can put them into slavery and make sure that nobody treats them well. He can order that they would be treated horribly, because think of all of the birthdays that were missed as he was out of the house. Think of the fact that he didn't even know until they came that he had a little brother. He missed out on seeing him grow up. Joseph had a lot to be angry about, and they understood that. They knew it because they saw all of the things that they did through the light of their own selfishness. Now, I'll give them some credit here. the credit I'm going to give them is the fact that they at least knew to ask for forgiveness. You see, they understood that now that their father was gone, that they needed to try to be even better, because now there was nothing to stop Joseph from harming them if he so desired. So what happened? Well, they begin to, they ask for forgiveness. They go to him, they bow down before him, and they ask for forgiveness. They beg for forgiveness. They want him to forget the hurt that they caused him. They want him, they want Joseph, the brothers want Joseph to forget all of the pain that was not only caused to Joseph, but also to his father. You see, Joseph was in a position to not just repay them for the pain that was caused to himself. He actually could have been trying to pay them back because the father was hurt as well. So Joseph, if he was acting in a selfish way, he could have done a lot of damage to them. But it amazes me because despite the fact that Joseph missed out on so many things, Joseph understood, at least from what we can see in this passage of scripture, he understood what was at the root of all that he had been through. You see, Joseph wasn't there. He wasn't thinking about himself anymore. He had gone through a lot. He had seen a lot, and he must have known that God was with him, even through the slave days, even through the jail days. Joseph understood that God was with him. And when we look at how God kept him through these various places, what that means necessarily is that even though the situation was bad, Joseph had hope the whole time. Even though life seemed to be pushing Joseph down the ladder, Joseph understood that God didn't need a whole lot of time to pull him up. And so what Joseph was doing was Joseph had learned to put his trust in God. And I like the fact that that is a lesson that we can grasp out of this, because once Joseph put his trust in God, that meant that he viewed life as if he were a child of God. So what does it mean that he viewed life as if he were a child of God? It means that when he looked at his brothers and he thought about the sin that was committed against him, he did not have anger in his heart anymore. He did not have a desire to repay them for the sin or the evil that they had done against him. And I want you to understand right here in this particular passage, the evil that they are referring to, they call it evil, and the problem some of us have with that is we think evil is other than. But evil in this situation was nothing more than selfishness. That's all that the evil was that they did. The evil that the brothers had in their heart was not some external thing that came in and attacked them. It was nothing more than selfishness. And Joseph understood that. Joseph understood where they were coming from. But you'll see that when they were apologizing, asking for forgiveness, Joseph wept. It's almost as if he's weeping, almost like he's in the position, or he understands God when God is receiving the cries from us for forgiveness, for things that God has perhaps already moved on from. And the cry to me, this is just me now, I can't speak from any commentaries or anything like that, but when I see Joseph crying here, it's almost as if, do y'all still think that I'm trying to get you? Do Do you think in your mind that it's still in my mind to get you back? Don't you understand? I've been taking care of you. I've taken care of the family. I've already shown you some love. If I wanted to get you back, you'd been gotten back already. It is as if he is standing there thinking that this is unnecessary for you all to be before me crying in this manner. We're done. And so what Joseph does is he explains to them from a godly perspective, you all did what you did out of evil. Y'all meant it for evil. Can I say it a different way though? Because that's how the Bible says it. Let me say it the way I really want to say it. It says, y'all did this because y'all were selfish. Y'all did this because you were looking for gain. You wanted me out of the picture. You did this for yourself. And you think that now I'm going to pay you back because now I'll be selfish. And what I need for you to understand is that I am not in the place of God. If you look around, the revelation, the thing that God showed me so many years ago, the thing that I told you about so many years ago, it has already happened. And we are here because God ordained this. God made this happen. Y'all think you made it happen. You think that I'm mad at you. I'm not mad at you. I'm not even mad at God. What you've got to understand was there was a plan that was already in place. And God's plan came to fruition. We are here because of God, not because of you. This is where Joseph was. And so Joseph had a selfless look at this thing because he was viewing it from the perch, if you will, of God. He understood who God is and what God did in his life. And he was actually thankful for what God had done. Won't you find a way to thank God no matter where you are in life, no matter what's going on? Why don't you find a way to be grateful to him for all the things that he's done, the ups and the downs, because he's preparing you for the place he has already made a way for you to reach. May God bless you. May God keep you. That's our prayer.
Thank you for joining us again today. But before we leave, I want you to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with family and friends. And if you are led to donate to this ministry, there is a link in the description below. Be blessed. May God... Wait. Dang it. I said, be blessed.